One of the most famous actresses of Hollywood's golden era has to be Vivien Leigh. The beautiful and talented British actress won 2 Academy Awards across her busy career. These 2 performances are what she is best remembered for, playing the feisty and manipulative Southern belle Scarlett O'Hara in the biggest film of all time, Gone with the Wind, and as the faded beauty Blanche Dubois in film of Tennessee Williams' play Streetcar Named Desire. Leigh was also married to one of the most revered actors of all time, Laurence Olivier, from 1940 to 1960. However, Vivien faced enormous hardship in her life despite her tremendous success and amassed wealth. Born on November 5, 1913, in British India to British broker Ernest Richard Hartle and his wife Gertrude. After being educated by her mother, she was sent at the age of 6 to the Convent of the Sacred Heart in London, where her passion for acting became clear. She attended number of schools across Europe before returning to Britain in 1931 and revealing her desire to act, eventually enrolling at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art (RADA) in London. Vivien then married barrister Herbert Lee Hallman in 1932, ending her studies at RADA and having daughter Suzanne in 1933. Over 1935 and 1936, Vivien took small roles but found greater success on the stage. After starring in the play The Mask of Virtue to rave reviews, actor Laurence Olivier congratulated her on her performance, eventually hitting it off with Vivien as they played lovers in 1937 film Fire Over England. They eventually became lovers. Despite Vivien's marriage to Herbert and Laurence's marriage to actress Jill Esmond, eventually, the pair moved in together, but their spouses refused to grant them each divorce, meaning they hid their relationship from the public for the sake of their careers. While acting as Ophelia in production of Hamlet at the Old Vic, Vivien had what is believed now to have been bipolar episode and began screaming at Olivier. Her film career began to take off as she won plaudits in the U.S. for her turn in Yank in Oxford 1938, but was refused the part of Cathy. Opposite Olivier's Heathcliff in the Hollywood adaptation of Wuthering Heights. During these years she read Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind novel and became clear of her desire to play its flawed heroine Scarlett, but is said to have doubted that Olivier would be cast as the male lead, Rhett Butler. She went out of her way by traveling to Los Angeles to visit Laurence and demand part in David O. Selznick's adaptation, getting attention through Selznick's brother and theatrical agent, Myron Selznick. Despite being the dark horse for the role, Vivien beat the likes of Bette Davis, Joan Bennett and Jean Arthur for the part, having greatly impressed director George Cukor. Filming the epic proved difficult, as Cukor was fired from the film and replaced by Victor Fleming, who clashed with Leigh. She also argued with actor Leslie Howard, prompting allegations that she was diva on set. Her co-star Olivia de Havilland defended her in 2006, saying, "She had 2 great concerns: doing her best work in an extremely difficult role and being separated from Larry Olivier, who was in New York." The film blasted Leigh to international stardom and she won Best Actress award at the Oscars for her role as Scarlett. In 1940, Vivien finally married Laurence after Jill Esmond agreed to divorce him and Leigh agreed to divorce Vivien, but the two remained close friends. She was soon refused 2 roles in the film adaptations of Rebecca and Pride Prejudice alongside Olivier. However, the couple found success together in the film That Hamilton Woman. The 1940s saw increasingly difficult times for the couple. As Vivien was diagnosed with tuberculosis in 1944 and suffered miscarriage in 1945, which prompted major bout of depression for the actress. During this time she would often fall to the floor and cry hysterically, growing into bipolar breakdown that became recurring issue for her. Her relationship with Olivier soon began to suffer, as she went through episodes of hyperactivity to depression to nervous breakdown, afterwards having little memory of her behavior. Vivien's film career also suffered setbacks and box office failures, with Caesar, Cleopatra and Anna Karenina proving to be disappointments. Laurence was knighted in 1947, with Vivien becoming Lady Olivier. In 1948, the couple went on tour of Australia and New Zealand as part of Laurence's duties for the Old Vic, but soon their relationship collapsed even further, as their quarrels became more epic as Vivien struggled with insomnia. In one incident in Christchurch, New Zealand, Vivien lost her shoes and refused to go on stage, prompting Lawrence to scream at her and slap her across the face in front of the company, prompting her to strike him back for embarrassing her. Lawrence soon cited the tour as bringing about the end of their marriage. In 1949, she sought out the role of Blanche Dubois in the then controversial play Streetcar Named Desire, keen to play part in boundary-pushing play tackling rape and homosexuality. She won the part and debuted the show in the West End, receiving huge acclaim for the role. After 326 performances, she was cast in Hollywood's adaptation by Elia Kazan, who was not keen on Leigh or her talent, but soon greatly admired her commitment to the role she played opposite Marlon Brando. Leigh scored her second Oscar for the part in 1951, but she soon said that playing the role of the unraveling Blanche tipped her into madness in the 1989 biography Olivier by Anthony Holden. Her final decades became marred by health difficulties and personal woes. The Oliviers continued to act alongside each other on stage, but Vivien obsessed over negative reviews that claimed Lawrence had dulled his talent to match her inferior performances. In 1953, Vivien was replaced by Elizabeth Taylor on the film Elephant Walk after she had nervous breakdown and Paramount Pictures took her off the project. During this downturn, she revealed her affair with and love for her co-star Peter Finch to her husband, relationship beginning in 1948. Her relationship with Finch soon ended due to her mental health taking turn for the worse, while she was forced to drop out of other projects. In 1956 she dropped out of Noel Coward production after becoming pregnant, but miscarriage prompted another depressive breakdown. As she joined her husband on tour, Olivier had her former husband Leigh stay with the couple to take care of Vivien, who remained close to him. As her marriage was all but over, 1958 saw her enter relationship with actor Jack Merivale. She divorced Lawrence in 1960 and he married actress Joan Plowright. Lawrence blamed Leigh's poor mental health for their marriage's end, but despite her stable relationship with Merivale and friendship with her first husband, according to Alexander Walker's Vivien, The Life of Vivien Leigh, she told Rady Harris, would rather have lived short life with Larry than face long one without him. Her stage success continued into the 1960s, with her winning Tony Award in 1963 for Tavarich. Her poor mental and physical state soon hit her career, however, affecting her time on set with paranoia bleeding into her work with actors, even resulting in her delivering physical absu. In 1967, her tuberculosis flared up and led to her being bedridden for weeks and cared for by Merivale. When Jack briefly left the bedroom one evening, he returned to find her dead on the floor, having collapsed and choked on the liquid in her lungs. Olivier was receiving treatment at hospital for prostate cancer when Jack reached her ex-husband, prompting him to race to her home where Jack moved her body to the bed. Lawrence described in 1982 how he stood and prayed for forgiveness for all the evils that had sprung up between us and waited by her side until her body was taken away. A funeral was held in London in July 1967, with her body being cremated and scattered near her home in Blackboys, East Sussex. Despite her life being marred by both mental and physical illness, Vivien remains one of the most memorable figures of Hollywood's golden age. She will be portrayed by actress Kate McGuinness in the Netflix series Hollywood, due out next month.